Howdy, readers. I'm Jason. This is Chapter and Verse. And tonight I'm going to be doing a tag. But before we get to the tag, I just wanted to share something with all you guys. So this here is the new issue of Bookmarks Magazine. There we go, Bookmarks Magazine. And inside, right, so it's got sections on fiction and nonfiction, science fiction, science writing, YA, and what they do, it's a little bit like Rotten Tomatoes for books. So Bookmarks Magazine kind of collates blurbs from reviews of books, and then they give a kind of average of its 5-star ratings from all of these different critics. And so there are, blurbs from The Guardian and Kirkus and NPR, all different kinds of papers, all different kinds of magazines. And I thought this would be fun to show and share. So this is the brand new issue, just got it in the mail today. And here is the section on, it's a bookmark selection in this issue, on These Truths, A History of the United States by Jill Lepore. And I heard her interviewed on NPR recently about this book. It was wonderful. And if we look, the very first critic who is blurbed right there is our own Steve Donahue, writing in the Christian Science Monitor. So anyway, I just thought that would be fun to share. But let's get on to the tag. So tonight, I'm going to be doing the American Southern Writers tag. And I was tagged to do this by Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics. And he actually did the original tag. So I was tagged in the original video. It's not going to take me too long. I actually haven't read too many Southern writers. And I own even fewer of them. But I will do my best. So the first first prompt, favorite Southern novel. So I went through everything on my Goodreads read shelf to kind of just compile a list of all things eligible for this tag, and then went from there. So my favorite Southern novel, I think, would have to be William Styron's The Confessions of Nat Turner. This is not a book that has been without its controversies. I don't really myself feel like there's much to the controversy. It's interesting because the controversy is decades old. You can read about it online. Just type in Styron, Nat Turner, and controversy. You don't find it. But it's the same kind of question that we see cropping up today about what is and is not out of bounds for writers to do in imagining themselves into the lives of characters different from themselves. But anyway, I read this a number of years ago. This book is brutal. It is harrowing. It's also incredibly beautiful at times. Kind of disarmingly beautiful. The final act of this novel reads like a kind of almost like a kind of fever dream horror film, really. It's terrifying. The controversy had to do with race, with Styron, who was a white man, imagining himself into the mind and the world and the life of Nat Turner, who was an enslaved African-American man in the 19th century. And I think it's a brilliant book. I think it's just an absolutely brilliant book. Styron apparently was good friends with James Baldwin, from kind of what I've gleaned online. And James Baldwin himself thought this was a great novel, defended Styron, but knew before this was published that Styron was going to have a shitstorm of controversy waiting for him. So anyway, The Confessions of Nat Turner would be my favorite Southern novel. Number 2. Favorite Southern dramatist or play. So I have read, to the best of my knowledge, one single Southern play, and that would be Streetcar Named Desire. I don't remember it very well. I read it in college as an undergrad, and I remember really enjoying it. I don't think I saw the film, but my old copy had a shirtless, very brawny Marlon Brando on the cover. And yeah, it was good. It was a good play. I suppose I should read some more from that playwright, Tennessee Williams. I think it's Tennessee Williams. Anyway, prompt 3, favorite living American Southern writer. Okay, so I'm going to combine 3 and 4 here. So 3 is favorite living American Southern writer, and number 4 is Southern writer I'd like to turn others onto. So I have the same answer for both of these prompts. And that would be Wendell Berry, who I think Wendell Berry is from Kentucky. I think. Don't quote me on that. But this is the one novel of his that I've read. It's very, very slim. This is The Memory of Old Jack. We read this in my church book and movie group about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. And it's just beautiful. It's pastoral. It's wise. It's really lyrical, but it's really plain spoken as well. I would say maybe if you're a Kent Harif fan or if you're a Marilyn Robinson fan, Wendell Berry's fiction would likely appeal to you. So that's The Memory of Old Jack. And then the other Wendell Berry book I'm going to show you is a collection of his essays called Sex, Economy, Freedom, and Community. And I actually want to read just a snippet from one of these for you. So I've been having conversations with some of my favorite booktubers, some of the people I've become pretty decent friends with here on BookTube, about Jesus and about my relationship with Jesus, and these conversations with Wilson, with Mark from Words Everywhere, with Caleb, have been going on since before the video that I did about the books of my faith, and have continued since. Wendell Berry is one of the writers who speaks most clearly to me on matters of faith, and whose thought tends to reverberate, I suppose, in me more than many other Christian thinkers. So here is a passage from his essay called Christianity and the Survival of Creation. The religion of the Bible, on the contrary, is a religion of the state and the status quo only in brief moments. In practice, it is a religion for the correction equally of people and of kings. And Christ's life from the manger to the cross was an affront to the established powers of his time, just as it is to the established powers of our time. Much is made in churches of the good news of the Gospels. Less is said of the Gospel's bad news, which is that Jesus would have been horrified by just about every Christian government the world has ever seen. He would be horrified by our government and its works, and it would be horrified by him. Surely no sane and thoughtful person can imagine any government of our time sitting comfortably at the feet of Jesus while he is saying, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them that despitefully use you and persecute you. So that's Wendell Berry. And if ever there were a living Southern writer worth turning people onto, it would be Wendell Berry, I'd say. Number 5, my first Southern read. That was The Optimist's Daughter by Eudora Welty. I have almost no memory of that book. Like it just evaporated out of my brain almost as soon as I finished it. The one thing I remember about that book is that there was a scene that involved empty cupboards, and that's really it. And then the last prompt, a popular Southern writer that I like. Okay, so I have read so little Southern literature that I don't really feel like I've read enough by any one Southern writer to say, oh, this is a popular Southern writer that I like. So instead, I'm choosing a book by a popular Southern writer that I really love. And it's the only book of hers that I've read. And that is Mystery and Manners, Occasional Prose by Flannery O'Connor. And it's just genius, right? I mean, yeah, these are essays, these are speeches. Some of them could feel like sermons, I suppose, in their way. And the part that I have marked in here. So, as you guys know, I have a tattoo on my right forearm. I would like someday to get one more tattoo on the underside of my left forearm. Kelly is adamant that is not going to happen. But if I'm ever able to persuade her, what I want to get tattooed on my left arm is this quote from Flannery O'Connor's book. Art never responds to the wish to make it democratic. It is not for everybody. It is only for those who are willing to undergo the effort needed to understand it. And I just feel like that is something I can and have and always will live by. Seems to me to be the kind of statement that will never not be true and that will never not be wise. So given that, I suppose it would always be a good raw material for a tattoo. But anyway, that is the American Southern Writers Tag. I will be back later this weekend, I think, with another video as we celebrate the end of what has been a kind of Indian summer. Weird, we haven't broken any records here in October, day to day, for kind of high temperatures, but we've gotten close, I feel like. And Sunday, the high is supposed to be 72, just days before Halloween, which just boggles the mind. I really can't tell what this winter is going to be like, but anyway. I hope you guys are having a good beginning to your weekend, and congratulations, Steve, on getting blurbed in the most recent issue of Bookmarks. I will talk to you guys again soon. Adios.